Make sure we're correct here. Nope. Wait, yes. Yes. Sweet. Should be the Discord announcement. See here, let's go ahead and transition. What's up, all you crazy geeks and gamers? My name is Brian Donahue, and I am your one-legged GM. Today, we're going to do something absolutely new. New for me, anyways. Instead of the normal world-building stuff or an actual play, we're going to try something new. As most of you who know me know that I've been a long-time graphic designer, and I've worked in with several folks in the industry, and I do regular work for some folks in the industry, laying out some of their monthly projects that they offer. So, working with one of the gentlemen I work with, DM Lair, Luke Hart, has graciously allowed me to do some of this live for you folks here on Twitch. So hopefully we have some folks in the chat eventually. We'll be talking. I've got some new stuff set up. You guys will actually be seeing my screen as it is. You'll be watching through the entire process, or at least a lot of the process. We're going to run probably a couple hours on this stream because it takes a little bit longer to do some of this stuff. So you'll see some of that as we go. Trying to think of what else we've got. Yeah, I think that's about what I need to worry about at this point anyways. Sorry, I'm adjusting a couple things on my screen here. We're also going to be trying some new stuff. I have music stream approved stream licensed approved music for the background for when we don't have anybody asking. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the stream chat, so if you have a question about what I'm doing, I'll try to answer that. I'll try to talk through this as much as possible, although narrating this will be very, very different from me because I don't normally do that. So you'll be seeing a lot of me doing this. So you'll see my side because my screen is actually set up over here. To my left, to your right would be, but to my left, but you'll be seeing that as well. So without any further ado, we go ahead, crank up the music a little bit. By the way, if anybody's in chat or afterwards, if you have questions, comments, especially about the music, I've not run this. I think I've got it turned down low enough so it's just kind of a background music. But if it's too loud, please let me know. Yeah, and I'll have a link in the notes at some point about linking to Luke's YouTube channel and his stuff. He does awesome work with both 5e and PF2 projects. I love working on it. And he's been doing it for a long time, and he's a fantastic GM. He's a fantastic creator. So I love getting to see a lot of his stuff. Pardon me, folks. That's the other thing. This is Michigan in February. Friday it was 60 degrees. Today it's 30. And therefore my throat and allergies and sinuses are stupid today. So I have plenty of liquids, non-alcoholic beverages. But yeah, so I think we're going to get started. And I'll talk through my process as we go through this. so you can see what I do on a somewhat regular basis. Maybe learn a few things about Photoshop, maybe learn a few things about InDesign, because I use both of them a lot for these projects. Yes, absolutely, it is absolutely Michigan weather. But we're going to get started. So I think I need some tunes to come on. There we go. Although they're loud in my ears, although that's not, shouldn't be nearly as loud as it is for you. MR13, if it is way too loud, please let me know. So, or if it's too distracting. I just want something while I'm contemplating and doing stuff. I usually have either music or a show in the background. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and light up the screen. So there we go. So what you're seeing is my desktop. We are working on April's projects. He releases a couple different, several different products monthly. I work on 2 of them. One of them is the Lair magazine. The other one is his one-shot adventure. Oh, this is going to be good. Today we're going to be working on the Lair magazine. So I have been given a lot of the text files. I have gone through and pre-selected a bunch of music, or not soon, thinking music. I selected a bunch of artwork from Adobe. He licenses everything through Adobe stock, and we are very careful to avoid AI generated art. Okay, so the music is really distracting. Let's see if I can lower that volume down. I just want to make sure that there's some filler. Let me know if that helps. I just want that low music level. And I can pull up different sound tracks if I need to, or different stuff. I may need to go to something a little bit more chill. Let's see here. Actually, let me go to my player. Let's switch to a less raucous. There we go. This should be a much more chill soundtrack. So, and the streaming chat, there it is. I was going to say, I've got it set up with the music so that it actually pops up who's playing and what and where I'm getting it from. So you guys can actually see that. Anyways, getting back to it. So what I get is I get these files. So I get the raw files for the Lair magazine. In this case, the 5e version and the Pathfinder 2 version. Oof. I get the cover art. I was going to say, why is it not loading? So I do get the cover art. And then I go through and look for specific Adobe artwork. As I was saying, we do avoid any... we try to avoid any AI art at all. And if we find AI art after we've already published it, I do go back through and replace it. That's kind of a hot topic thing that we just avoid right now. Good or bad, that's it. So, let's see here. Anyways. So yeah, so I go through and I find the artwork, and then Luke licenses it for me, uploads it to the server so I can grab it, and then I will use that artwork in various places as we go through layout. Now, if I come across artwork that I need for a filler or whatever, then I just go through and get it myself from Adobe Stock. So, let me go to make sure that that is actually loaded, because I almost always have to go find stuff there. So we'll come back to that. So yeah, so that's my process. Or that's where we start the process anyways. For me, when I receive the information, what I start to do, I have to work on cover art first. And we have a format that we've already done. So what I do is I copy. Let's see, copy. By the way, I'm working on a Mac. So, and I'm very specifically not showing keystrokes and things. Although we can talk about that at another time if we need to. But what I do is I start with the previous month's work, so that I have, because he has a very specific logo and placement for the logos, both his logo and the logo for the magazine. So we start with that. Let's see here. What is this? So April's subtitle is Fables and Fantasy. So let's go ahead and get to that. So I'm going to fire this up in Facebook or Photoshop. Wow. It's been one of those days. So this was actually March's cover, or will be March's cover as soon as it releases in about a month. Just under a month. So the first thing I do is I'll go through and change. Of course, this will be volume 40. Stop it. For April. And this month is Fables and Fantasy. Oops. That was my mistake. He has a very specific format, and I love it. But that's the artwork for March. So let's get rid of the March artwork. And go from here. So we have... there's the April artwork. Oh, that's cool. He always has custom artwork done for his covers. And they are cool. So let's expand this. Where do we want to? Love that artwork. Where? Gotta see the dude. So somewhere about there should be fun. Maybe a little bit further. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, the orange-ish layer top here does not, or the coloring doesn't really work for this. Before I go any further, file. I'm going to save this as April. Make sure I get the right cover on there. Get rid of March. And I am going to rasterize that so I can cut, or crop, sorry. That way when I move it over to the table of contents, when I move it over to the table of contents, it'll be the same artwork, just faded a little bit, and you'll see that in just a moment. So, honestly, the oranges actually look really good. I think I'm going to leave them as orange. Yeah. Because frankly, it looks good. It's nice offset color. It's readable. Those are the things you kind of look through. to see, to make sure that it doesn't blend into the background, doesn't clash with the background. So if the oh good, you can actually see my pointer too. So if this had been something that was red down here, or say purple down here, I wouldn't necessarily use orange, because it would, if it was red, it would clash, and we wouldn't want that. So that's how I'm going to lay that out. Honestly, I'm going to leave it orange because it looks good, which means I need to do that. Smart object. Not that I will need to move it, but I'd say that's good enough. And I'm going to... So, interesting fact with Photoshop. Let me go back here real quick. Guess what? You guys are going to get some training with this. So, Photoshop, there's a couple different ways to save to JPEG. A lot of people use the export. If you're exporting for web, that's the way to go, because it saves it as 72 dpi. It's great to do that. And you can either export as or save for web. Both of them have their ups and downs. But for something like the cover, I usually just go ahead and save a copy. Save a copy saves it at the original DPI, which is 300 DPI in this case, because I built the original file. And that saves it better for print. He's not printing this. He's doing these as PDFs. But it's a higher quality, although it is a bigger file. But it really doesn't matter that much. So we're going to save this as a JPEG, embed the color profile, and away we go. So there's the cover. Now let's open up the TOC. See how we treat this one different? Nice thing is, I don't have to change the color. I'd have to change the wording and stuff. But before I do that, let's go ahead and move that other artwork over. All right, I heard an alert. What was the alert? I don't have Twitch up. I need to have Twitch up at some point, don't I? Dang it. So for my streaming, I have a Mac, so I don't use their Twitch streaming app, because they only do it for Windows, which is normal. So let's pop. Hang on a second. Sorry, I'm trying to be good about not giving away any information if I don't need to. Where's my dashboard? I think that's it. Cool. Anyways. Oh. Yeah, Smoketail, it probably was you. Okay. Let's see here. Let's get rid of you, because you'll just be weird. All right. Gotta go back. All right. So, looking at this, we've got, let's see here. I gotta drag the artwork from here. Oop, wrong thing to drag. That's not what I want. I want you. Drag the artwork between two. Thin the opacity down. So the table of content, this page actually, you'll see it, it leaves room for the actual tables of content in the PDF. So this is Fables and Fantasy. And I've already read through it partially to get the artwork, so this should be a good month. Okay. I say that like that's unusual. No. His stuff is genuinely really good. Especially if you're playing 5e or PF2. So, let's see here. Oh, hey. Yeah, it was. So it was a new follow. Cool. Thank you very much for that, by the way. I appreciate that. That puts us 14 away from Associate, which is where we monetize. So thank you. Appreciate that. So, getting back to this. So this is actually now our TOC. And just like that, it's done. So this one I can file. Let's call it April. Close the cover. Save a copy as JPEG. And for Smoketail and Tiger Bard, I'm doing a graphic design layout, something new. If the music is way too distracting, let me know. I've toned it way down, so hopefully it's a whole lot better on the, if you guys can even hear it still. But if you have questions at all about the process I'm doing, let me know. This is just something interesting. Figured you guys could see a very different side of what I do and what other folks do to make the products that, well, you guys love. So, all right. So, the covers are done, which is a good thing. It's a good start. Get rid of those. So I always start with the 5e version. However, I cheat a little bit because I go back to last month's version. And here's where this is a systems thing for me, because I always complete the 5e first and then the PF2 version. Any edits that happen in 5e then are made in PF2, so we don't have to edit that as hard. But also any changes I've made to the presets all carry over. So I always choose the PF2 InDesign to open from the last month. So you'll see a glimpse of PF2 of Marches. So, this is March, first thing we do. File. Save as. And we're going to throw this in 5e. 40. April. So that we have a solid base and don't screw up March's files. Let's see here. Good. All right. So now we're going to start. Funny enough, we're going to start at the bottom. And this is the process. Because I transport these in, it's easier to do it this way than to start a whole new document and import all the little stuff that needs to import, frankly. But what I'm going to do is literally at this point, I start deleting all the text because of the way, because we use some specialized ways to bring in the text. Come on, there we go. If I just start deleting pages, it's going to end up re-importing the text again. So there's a section. Let's see here. There's a chapter. Now, I'm not worried about the images or anything right now, because they will all come through. Let's see here. That's right. There's our intro. Next section. Oh. Dang it. For most of the Lair magazines, by the way, he actually commissions artwork for any new monsters that he's adding to his world. So all of these are actually commissioned monsters for this work specifically. There aren't any in this new April version, but he hires some really cool artists. All right. So there's the front. And then this is the fun part. Yep. So we go from there all the way down to the end. Let's see here. Delete the pages. Boom. Okay. Now I can start creating Aprils. So, let's go to you. Select the right tool. Select the right link. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually relinking the new stuff to it. So, nope, not it. That's on the other drive. You. There we go. So there, it brings in the image easily. I don't have to mess with anything. So we'll do the same for the TOC, table of content. And you'll see how that giant dark area actually gives you a lot of space for that table of content. And because it's a PDF, because of an active PDF, it's all clickable, so you can go right to that area. Now we get to do the fun stuff and start inputting the new information. So here, we're going to relink this page. And this is the 5e info page. So I use a very expensive plugin called WordsFlow and DocsFlow for Google Docs that actually pulls in a Microsoft Word document, and if you have it set up properly, all of the headers will correspond to a very specific header type, which makes it easy to input. Double check, make sure everything's correct. There we go. All right, cool. We'll update the contents later, or table of contents later when we, have one. but we'll leave it as a placeholder for now. Start a new page. Click there, and this is where we start to get really, really fun. We are inputting first. High fantasy article. Cool. File. Words flow. Place with words flow. Okay, I think that's it. Okay. So here what you see is it's imported all of this text in a rough format. I have to go through and clean it up a little bit, but all of these headings are very specific to where, so for instance, this heading here is very specifically formatted the way it should be, all brought in by that software. So it's well worth it. It saves me probably 100 hours a month of, probably about 30 hours a month of doing this. So it's worth every bit of it. Now we're going to clean this all up. Start with that. And then I go through and look for trouble spots. And then I will start placing artwork. So quick glance through. These are all numbers. And I have very specific paragraph styles here. So this would actually be core numbered. And it adjusts the entire thing to fall in line with the way we're supposed to. Come all the way down to here. Core numbered. There we go. Oh, you didn't, did you? Dang it. Why is that restarting? Bullets and numbering. Should be restarting the numbers. No. There we go. See, that's an oopsie. Whoa. That didn't work. Okay. Why are you doing that? Number, any previous level. Why is that not working? All right, why? Well, see, this is what happens when you try to do something fun, like show it off. Now I get to see how well my Google Foo works. This is the fun part. Oh, that's right. Dang it. Oops. I forgot. This is a goofy part of InDesign. Continue from previous number. Okay. Now, you literally have to say restart numbering. Four, 1 through 7. There we go. Okay, cool. Woof. All right. So now we get to do artwork. Let's see here. What do I have? Oops, wrong one. April. Interior artwork. Fantastic campaigns. What stuff do I have? We're going to use... Sure, we're going to start with you. This is where the magic happens, folks. It's kind of a cool image. I'm going to make it fit in the book. Okay, this music is actually really fun. This would also make a good writing playlist. So I have a selection of brushes here, and what I'm doing is basically making a PNG so that I have a transparent background in part of it. I make this to various shapes. I have various brushes perfectly set up for that. Let's see here. Come on, Photoshop. It's thinking real hard right now. So, let's see here. Export. Nope. 5D version. There we go. And because I've touched it and played with it, I need to designate that. So we'll save that. Then this is the fun part where we insert the photo into InDesign. As soon as it saves. Wow, Photoshop is being slow today. What all do I have open? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Alright. InDesign. Grab my folder. Grab the file. We're going to drop it over here somewhere. Something probably like that. Align with the breaks here. And then, because we have this text here, let's pull it up, see what happens. You know what? Let's do that. go. Alright, so we're going to break this right here. Oh. Oh, that's why. So I just tried a keyboard shortcut that works on my laptop, but not on the desktop version because I have a different keyboard. So, all right. So seeing this, I'm going to do something fun because I have that giant gap there. Let's go back. We're going to do you. Drop this down here. File. So I'm modifying the file that I just put in there, and InDesign does something really, really cool with it, and I will update and it will import the latest version, which then I can use. So let's export that back to masked. Yes, I want to replace it. I'm doing so on purpose. Why? Why are you taking so long today? There we go. So, InDesign is telling me, hey, you've got this little symbol right here. It says, hey, you updated the artwork. Now, I am going to flip it. Which then means I'm going to end up making it larger, apparently. I have to think twice about my keyboard shortcuts because the keyboard shortcuts for Photoshop are very different than the keyboard shortcuts for InDesign. They do very, very different things, especially for manipulating images. So I always have to think twice about, all right, which program am I in? You know, first world issues, I guess. All right, so just like that, now we have our first image in this book. Let's see here. Let's move you up. Creating a high fantasy game, the world of magic. How much more of the magic is there? Too much. Actually, that's not terrible. Let's do that. Move that back down. Start up there. And that little fill-in spot right here is what I'm gonna fill in with basically watermarks and stuff later. I have a random series of stuff that I put in there. Hug. All right. Let's go to what other artwork do I have for this? All right. Ooh, I like that one. So if we put that, ooh, let's do that. Okay, we're gonna do that. Yeah, we can do that. This will be fun. Wrong one. Ooh, I like that even more. Cool. So let's do that. So part of my job a lot is trying to figure out not only what artwork looks good, but how to get it looking good in the book itself. For instance, in this page, we have this kind of large spot right here. It's actually about a small spot. It's about a quarter page. That frankly, we could probably even get away with not putting anything in there, or with putting other stuff in there. But I know Luke, and Luke likes to have a lot of artwork. We all like to have a lot of artwork in our books, let's face it, right? So I'm going to do something interesting with this guy. Yes, this is a giant, pun intended, because that's how I roll. And we're going to start, basically make a really small version of this scene just to fit in that area. Okay, cutting off the back of that magic whip makes it look like he's jumping a rope. It's kind of funny. I think that should be about the size and space. So let's go ahead and crop that puppy down. Export it for use. So you guys actually finding this interesting, or am I just interesting to listen to in the background? Now, granted, that's probably not a bad thing, but I'm just kind of curious if you guys are finding the process interesting at this point. Yeah. I'm going to try to do this, whether it's one of Luke's projects. Now, often I have deadlines, so I can't wait and do a little bit every week, a couple hours every week. I'm going to try to do this every Sunday, though, about this time. And we'll do, when I'm not doing one of Luke's projects, we'll do one of mine. All the discoveries that we've been doing on Wednesday night, we're going to be building those into setting and one-shot books, PDFs that we can sell for a little bit. So we're going to end up putting that. On, doing this with those as well. So you'll actually see the numbers going on paper then. Smoketail, it's amazing. You don't think about how much effort. And the other thing is, it's not just the effort while we're doing this, but it's the effort to set it up correctly so that it doesn't take near as much time. The first time I did layout for the first Hidden Worlds Incursion. Okay, so Hidden Worlds Incursion, the first version of the game, took like 80 hours, I think, to do layout. I didn't have the systems, I didn't have the knowledge then that I do now. So we did it haphazardly, honestly. Now, the second version, which is 100 pages larger, I think. Took less than half of that to do layout. Because we had set up the documents properly beforehand, so I could do the imports like this and then just add stuff. So yeah, it's interesting to think about that stuff, and we don't really think about it until we see somebody actually doing it. So, and there we go. We have our first set done. It's far less images than I thought it would be, which is fine, I think. Probably use the other two if I really wanted to, but let's save those for later. So I used 2 of them. I did not use that one or that one. So when I don't use images, I tuck them away there. And if I don't use them by the end of the book, then I will tuck them away in a different spot as a library to go through to see if for other images. So, let's see here. All right. Well, that was fun. Next is our mini adventures. Oh, this is fun. This one we've got custom artwork to do for. So this will be, you'll see a little bit of a method to my madness. So, file. Words flow, place with words flow. This is, nope. Mini adventures, there we go. Oh, good. It opened beautifully. Alrighty. So this is fun. Alright, what are the notes? Okay. So he asked me to leave that little bit of that title out of the TOC, which is fine because I have one that is non-TOC. Beautiful. Okay. So, first thing we do, let's grab core numbered. All the way down for core bulleted. Wow, this song sounds familiar. Sounds like the end of a little, like a light romance action movie. Box text, medium metallic, all right. So these mini adventures are interesting. This one is going to be a handwritten note, I think. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, there is a map with these. Map with each of these. Good. Okay. So as you can see here on the right hand side of the screen, I have stuff specifically set up for laying out in InDesign, and it all corresponds to how it's done in Microsoft Word in this case. But it's something that I can select a whole lot of that and easily change it, as opposed to going in and hand changing every one of those. That's why you set up these paragraph styles, so that you don't have to do everything by hand. You can, it just takes forever. This also means that everything that you do has a consistent look to it, which is also wanted for the market expects it, frankly. So let's see here. Shrine while resting. So for a lot of these shorter areas, I go through and I clean up all the text first, and then I start putting in the images and the maps and that sort of thing. Side note, this has been really interesting for me to be able to walk through this process. I'm sorry, to be able to talk through this process. It's kind of interesting. Because I do a lot of this thing by rote memory now, but describing what I'm doing is a very different process. I guess it's like teaching a class or something. Actually, probably is. All right. So have you folks been able to see everything okay on the screen? I try to let it fill up as much as possible. Well, Smoketail, I might give you a quiz later. No, I'm kidding. But it's if you ever use any of the software, you'll actually understand a little bit, because both Photoshop and InDesign have a huge learning curve. But they are the de facto standard of the industry at this point. I was talking with somebody the other day, and I realized that I've used almost every version of Photoshop since version 1, which is wild to think about. And let me tell you, the differences are very, very amazing. When I'm doing work for somebody, the newer versions of Photoshop, the background, the selection tools themselves have become so good that I can throw a scene out there or throw up an image that's very busy background and outline the person and say select subject, and it will get the hair right, which is amazing. Yeah, I have enough background in JavaScript that I don't do that. Of course, I learned HTML and a little bit of scripting, a little bit of JavaScript for websites back before things like WordPress were a thing. Back before WordPress and starts with a J, I think. Joomla? I think. Anyways, back before those were really big. Back when CSS was actually becoming a thing as opposed to the de facto for smooth web. So, God, I sound old. Back in my day. All right, so let's see here. Now that we've got the text laid out, let's make it look pretty. Oy vey. Mini adventures. Yep, that's the one. Where am I going to put this thing? I think I'm going to put it right there. So if I do that, I'll open up you. Yeah, it doesn't. Number 13, it does not get any better at all, frankly. Let's see here. What was I going to do? That. See, I got totally sidetracked. What brush am I going to use for this? I think you again. All right. Now let's see what happens. Go to there. What's interesting is you guys can actually see how much I'm cutting out of the pictures that we do use. All right, let's see here. Export as. Come on. Export mini adventures. Mast. Save. All right. Back to InDesign. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So up to now, we've done a lot of normal image placement where we haven't really covered the lines or anything. One thing we've been trying to do for the Luke's projects is to make the artwork more interesting. So as you can see here, I'm essentially covering part of the text in the left side of the screen over here. And instead of doing that, we're going to... Nope, wrong one. There we go. We're going to do a text wrap. And we're going to do a clean text wrap. Left side. The alpha channel, which gives us the text wrap for the actual transparency. That turned out pretty good. Have to come down a little bit. Too far. Not too far. That works. Because if anytime you can break up halfway, break up the middle of the page, it makes it far more interesting. Bump out just a bit here. Make sure we've got clearance all the way around. There we go. Cool. All right. So, and now we need to insert the map. Because there's a map. Pretty sure there's a map. What is this puzzle? The King's Path. There we go. That must be the hags. Okay. Wait. Yep. Okay. So I know that I've got this map here. Let's throw the map in here somewhere. All right, if we're there, we're going to place a new map or a new thing here, and this is going to be apply parent to page. We're going to apply B, which gives us this really interesting background because occasionally we have maps that are not full page maps. Oops. Come on, Brian. So when we don't have full page maps, we don't want to cut off any of the map. So we just have to place it on a page. I used to put a flat black background in there, which was okay with Luke, but I found it boring. And when the graphic designer finds it boring, we do different things. So I came up with this interesting background that just breaks it up, but still gives you a map. Okay. Now, oh, I did not think this through. I don't think that'll go, but let's see what happens. All right. You guys are going to get to see me cheat a little bit. And just like that, look at that. It kind of fits. Let's do this. And then I'm going to dump the next mini adventure on the next page and come up with something for that. In fact, we only used a little bit of that the first time. Let's see if we can use the rest of it. It's already open in Photoshop. Nope. Nope. I'm going to reopen it. This is really appealing to my Irish heritage. Just saying. size was that? A little bit tall. Cool. The nice thing about the Adobe stock artwork is that it often is very large, or it has a large pixel size, which means I can take a small piece of it, something like that. Let's expand that a little bit. Paint some of that back in. Do a small piece like this and be happy with it. Just like that. Yes, I agree that that image is amazing. And it's so cool to see some of the artwork where they do that. And believe me, I have a lot of stuff bookmarked in Adobe stock for use in my own projects as well. You know, because as I'm looking for stuff, if I go, oh, I like that one, I'll bookmark it for myself. It's more fun that way. Let's see, where am I? Yeah, it might actually just fit there. Had to name it a slightly different name, because if we hadn't, then InDesign would have changed the other one to that. Let's do, all right, next one. Our hag. Cool. All right. Hags, period, I guess. How am I going to cut this one? All right. What's the artwork I chose? All right, that's pretty cool. This one is fun. I'm going to show you a little trick I do here. So this one is fun, but it's obviously CGI, right? I don't always like the look of the CGI stuff, but I'm an artist, so I have some very, well, expensive. I keep saying expensive software. There is no cheap graphic design software. No cheap, really solid professional graphic design software. Yes, I know Canva can be free, and it works okay for some things. But the highly specialized stuff like this doesn't work for. That was an interesting line and ink thing. Let's. Oh, you're kind of interesting. No. Although, step you back. You're actually not terrible. Actually, I like you. All right. Let's go with that. And so all of a sudden that CGI, very CGI looking image went to this. How do I want to do this? Let's go from the top. It's more fun that way. So, if we're coming from the top, some of the brushes I use, I've found places. Some of them, like this one, I've actually created myself. So it's, if I'm looking for a very specific look, I can actually do interesting things with that. So by doing that at the bottom, that means we can place the image at the top of the page, which again breaks up the pattern of images being at the bottom of the page or the side of the page. It makes the book more visually interesting. Okay, this soundtrack has gone from Irish shanties to historical drama. Kind of dig it. It's been an interesting music selection. Where am I at? Not that. That. Oops, wrong one. Grabbed the wrong one. I like that. Oh, that worked out beautifully. Oops. Or not so beautifully. Okay, I need more artwork. Because I can't have a half a page of... Nope, too much text to put the map there. Maybe? Maybe. Probably. Alright. Let's go find artwork. Photos. Nope. Just one. There we go. Fey Witch. Let's see what pops up. This is where it gets interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff right there, and then watch as I tick the exclude generative AI. A lot of it goes away. Not getting how that's supposed to be a Fey Witch, but whatever. already got saved in my list. That's not terrible. Wait, what was that? I think that'll work. All right. If you haven't figured out by now, I do have two dual monitor setup, so I drag that photo off that primary monitor. What do I want to do with this? Do this. Oops. That's better. So I put that there and I do that. Cool. Yeah. I have two very large monitors that I love. And I wouldn't turn down a third. I'm just saying. I'd have to clean off my desk to find space for it, but I'd be willing to do that. This one, we're going to do that. Cool. So looking at this page here, we've got kind of this interesting shape, which I'm going to do, because the way the photo is done, knowing we're going to swap it anyways, we're going to flip horizontal, and we'll do that interesting shape. I think a soft edge for this one. Definitely into historical drama for this music. This is where the prince or the prince want-to-be is riding to save the princess or the duchess or whoever the gardener is saving. This music is for the fair and the jousting tournament in said historical drama. Oh. If you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but I can easily see that in that. Or the start of a dance. The start of a noble's dance. So here we're going to put the map for the hags. Is it that low? Interesting. Bump the music a little bit. I'll have to go back through and play and listen to this episode myself and see where the music was to see whether it was where the level should be. Okay, so that the mini adventures chapter is done. Woohoo! 2, 3, 2 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go. 6 to go, technically. Oh, you need to be... Pages... Master. There we go. Alright. Magic items. Nope, that's puzzles. All right. Fun. Okay. All right. So one of the interesting things that Luke has done for his layout stuff is, like Pathfinder 2 uses Pathfinder 2 uses a liquid layout for their monsters. So unlike the rigid stat blocks, they do a much more liquid layout. Luke actually takes that thought process with the 5e stuff as well now, do as much as he can. So it's a really interesting way to lay things out. It's just core body. No, not core body, sorry. That should have been core bulleted. There we go. master type. Be metallic. And yeah, I do have a bunch of images for this. Oh, fun. So this is where we get to do a chart. So we're taking basically a plain ugly chart like that, and let's see how we make it much prettier. And if you've got the Hidden Worlds manual, you'll recognize how this chart looks with very few differences. Let's see here. So objects. Crap. Forgot. Object style. Table frame. Table style. Table flips. That. That's going to happen anyways. That worked. There we go. There we go. And just like that, the table's pretty. Oh, I need to start putting images because those tables are going to move. Dang it. There we go. All right. What images do I have for this? Oh, yeah. So when we're doing these items, because Luke did not provide artwork for them, we're not doing a piece of art for every individual one. We're doing them for the majority of them. a better idea for that one. Instead of doing that. Let's grab you. So if I do that. Don't like that. All right. Oh, I know what I was going to do with this as well. It's a photo. So I'm going to make it not a photo. As I do. That I like. Even better. All right, cool. Let's add another. Yeah. So every one of these settings changes what the brush strokes look like, in effect. That'll work. Okay. Do. Bigger brush strokes. Whew. So we've got about 15 minutes left for this session. So if you've got any other questions or anything, I'm trying to think about what all's going on. Next con for us is MuskyCon, mid-March. March 16th to be exact, in Muskegon, Michigan. 10 to 5, I think, ish. I don't know. It's a one day. It's at the new conference center built downtown. It's when they built onto the hotel. So, crap! I put that in the wrong spot. Dang it. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. We'll be there. Our new booth minion, Agent Nibbles, will be there. We may have another new minion joining us. I'm trying to convince Gigglesnort to make an appearance. For those of you who don't know, Agent Nibbles is a 6-foot tall gerbilthrope. Yes, I said that right. He's a were-gerbil. Gigglesnort is my foot-tall gremlin friend, and I'm hoping he's going to make an appearance as well. For those of you who are in the Stump Squad, which is my fan club, I actually already do have the new artwork, so you will get the new Fred artwork is available. Let's see here, what else is coming? We're waiting on a couple different manufacturers, one for a quote, one for a correction pre-production sample for the card game that's coming out. So they're not in manufacturing yet. That's been nerve-wracking for all of us. Let's see here. Where was that? That was there. Should actually be there. The sample that we got sent, the colors were way off from the Chinese manufacturer. And by way off, I mean all my reds look like burnt umbra or burnt orange. It's terrible. So, and of course, being Chinese, they've been off for the last month, so they're just now spooling back up. So I expect to hear back from them fairly soon, as far as that goes. The other manufacturer we found while we were waiting and not happy with the other manufacturer, they happen to be in Battle Creek, Michigan. So instead of a slow boat from China to get the games, it would be a relatively quick van drive to get the games once they're done. So, and they've got a much faster timeline for manufacturing. We're just waiting on a quote for them, and we've kind of already decided if it's halfway close to a competitive quote, we're going to go with them. Primarily because they're local and we're not working with 4 different time zones in between us. So, what am I doing here? So that's fun. Yeah, the box was perfect for the pre-production sample. The rule sheet was perfect for the pre-production sample. The cards were about as far from that as possible. And that sucked. So, ooh, I like how that turned out. Now I've got to find... What do I have for this one? Oh, the trident. Okay. Forget what I'm doing when I'm doing this. Yeah, me too. We're absolutely hoping for the Battle Creek folks to come through, because we just don't want. I mean, it would solve so many issues for us. Here's hoping. So. Another quick announcement as I'm thinking about things here. This year we will not be at Grand Rapids Comic Con Spring Fling in Kalamazoo. I have other stuff going on around that time, and so it's just not going to be a con that we're able to go to, which kind of sucks. But, other than that, however, I'm trying to think if it's, I can neither confirm nor deny that I will be a guest again at Grand Rapids Comic Con in November. Take that as you will. So, but yes, and Amur 13. That's why there wasn't a minion option for that. Although, for those of you who are minions, I will be putting a more full calendar together once I confirm. I've got a couple that I still need to confirm, in which one of them will need sizable GM coverage, demo GM coverage. So, anyways, fun stuff. All the fun stuff. I like the fancy one. No, let's not. Inverse rounded. That's cool. Let's do a black stroke of 1 point. Sure, that works. So that's how we're going to do the trident artwork. Short, sweet, to the point. Now the shield. And the dragon is going to go elsewhere. Dragon essence. Oh, good. That would be pretty good. So, let's see here. I do plan on wrapping this up right around 6, so if you have any other questions or anything, let me know. For those of you, I know we've got a few viewers. We've had a few viewers, and for those who watch this later, if you've not been on the website, the website got a major refresh over the winter. OneLeggedGM.com. It is much better now. It's getting there. Still adding some stuff. If you want to help support the channel, tell your friends to subscribe or to follow, first of all, on Twitch, because that is necessary at this point. But also, take a look at joining our Stump Squad. It's a one-time $25 to join the fan club. However, I will use your name or the name you give me as a character in an upcoming book or story. I always treat my Stump Squad folks well in stories. They don't die unless they ask me to. There's a lot of other fun stuff with that. And yeah, all kinds of merch and stuff is available exclusively. Some exclusive savings are available. That is how we do it. I do not do a Patreon style. We decided not to because I don't have the bandwidth to generate as much material as I would want to need to. So that's been a thing. The discoveries are coming up. Hang out with us every other Wednesday. We're here on this channel for our live world building in the hidden worlds with audience input. And our audience input has made us do some crazy things like, we recreated the Scooby-Doo gang in Victorian New Orleans, which was really, really funny. That would be the Mysterious Machinations Agency Incorporated. Of course, they drive around in their Enigma machine. So, all kinds of fun. Yeah. So come join us. See if I can get this in before... Well, I'll hang on until we get this done. First of all, I'm going to select the object. Now, this is fairly simple because it's on a white background, but even 2 or 3 years ago, that would be problematic. But that's how cleanly it grabbed that shield. I need... this portion. Wait. No, I don't want this yet. Let's drop you into the filter. So the shield that's there is a boar's head shield. Finding that as stock artwork was impossible. And now we're into sea shanties. All right. I genuinely kind of like this, actually. No, that's not it. That'll work. Actually, let's do this. Oh my gosh. This music is hysterical. Oh. if this works, it'll be really, really cool. If it doesn't, well, I'll try something else. That's not gonna work. Wait a second. All right. Oops. Nope. That's not terrible. That's better. All right. Now, if I remember right. Nope. There we go. It's better. Oh, let's see here. That's not bad at all. All right. I think that'll do. Need to. Let's drop a. That's better. And that's how you make a boar's head shield. So, now that I've done that, I will drop the rest of it into that document. And we'll see when I can pick this up again. Do this. I'll either be finishing up this project, the PF2 version of it, or something else. Maybe we'll do this once or twice a week occasionally. So, let me get back to where am I going to be? Go back to this. Turn that off. There I am, right there. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me for this little over 2 hour experiment. This is going to go on. We're going to do this far more often because I'm enjoying this. Hopefully you got a little bit out of it. And you'll get to see see some fun stuff. So thank you all for joining me, those who did. For those who see this later, why weren't you here? Anyways, join us next time. Watch the Twitch channel to see when we're going to be there. For those of you who are going to see this on YouTube, our Twitch is where we do the live stream. That is twitch.tv/oneleggedgm. If you haven't seen any of our other information on YouTube, if you haven't seen any of our actual play, that is all on youtube.com/oneleggedgm. It's almost like we tried to make it easy to find, right? As always, oneleggedgm.com and dmlair.com. I'll put the link somewhere in the information. Go check out his stuff. Luke's a great guy, and we're supporting. So with all that, we'll see you later.